Welcome to Betting Weekly WTA, the women's tennis betting podcast, brought to you in association with Bet Rivers. Before we get started, please like and subscribe on YouTube and your favourite podcast provider. And tell us what you think in the comments. And of course, follow us on social media. The handle is @BecauseWeWin. I'm Rory Jiwani. With me as ever is Nigel Seeley to look ahead to the action this week. It's Indian Wells, a big one, with all the big names back in action. We had a bit of success last week. Nigel's pick in Austin, McCartney-Kessler, made it to the final, so we cashed at $8 each way. But top seeds Jessica Pegula and Emma Navarro warmed up for Indian Wells in fine style. Pegula beating Kessler in the final in Austin, and Navarro double bageling shock finalist Emiliana Arango to win the title in Merida after a disappointing few months. Nigel, hope you're well. Congratulations on Kessler. Any reflections on last week?
Commiserations, really, because I said that the two favourites are well worth fading, Pegula and Navarro, and they both won the tournament very, very convincingly. I thought we had a shot with Kessler in the final against Pegula in set one. I know we spoke on WhatsApp, didn't we? We had a little conversation. I thought we got a chance here, and then it all went wrong. She had nosed her edge in front, heading front with a break, and played really well at the beginning, and then Pegula just showed her class and come through. It's very rare, really, that two top seeds do so well in the tournament before a big event like this, the Indian Wells. You know, they usually come in a little bit of prep before, try to get some little practice going. But I think they, especially Navarro, I mean, the finalist it was impossible really to see how she couldn't get the job done there very, very convincingly. The tournament was handed on a plate, and the way she won it was spectacular. And you had a big bet. You bet the six love.
I did.
What about that? What a call that is!
Euros.
And that's not just after timing. Rory actually sent me a WhatsApp as well, the picture with his little bet on it. Six love. He called it in the final. That is incredible. Well, if I had a hat, I'd be taking it off to you, sir.
Well, to be honest, me seeing Emiliana Arango in a WTA Tour final was a real shock. She's decent on clay. She doesn't have much power, but she relies on players to make errors. And she's not going to hit many winners. And I saw Navarro during the week. I mean, I liked Elena Avanesian in Merida. It did play really slowly, but Navarro was right back to form. And I just thought, if she's playing well, she's a player who doesn't make that many errors. So it's going to be difficult for Arango to get a game. And that's kind of how I used to bet on women's tennis, as some of you might know. My main angle was finding really one-sided matches, which you could often do in slams and the bigger tournaments. But I saw this one. I still have the odd bet now and then on those lopsided matches when I think they're there. They're not as frequent as they used to be. But I saw this one and thought
you'd be dining out on that one for some few years. Six love. I bet that. Not many people can say they've bet a six love final, I can't remember a final where it's ever been six love.
I've got a feeling the Rome final a few years ago that Swiatek beat Pliskova 6-love. That seems to ring a bell.
Was you on that as
well?
No,
it doesn't happen often.
Was you on that as well?
I was not on that, no.
Nice. Okay. Well done though, mate. Well done.
Thank you very much. Well, I wish it counted towards the figures. We're a bit behind, but hopefully we can turn it around this week. It's a big one. It's the unofficial fifth major at Indian Wells in California. Iga Swiatek defending her crown. She's without a title this year, but as I said, all the big names are back. Now, the big news, I guess, ahead of the tournament is the change in surface. Indian Wells, notoriously a bit slow. It's been played on plexi-pave before. It's now switched to lake hold, which is used at the US Open, Cincinnati, Miami, which are usually a bit quicker, much higher in the service hold percentages. Now, Nigel, I think you've been speaking to Sean. I mean, I've done some number crunching, and the figures aren't very different at all for service hold percentage. I compared qualification last year with qualification so far this year, and I haven't seen a difference. It did look a bit quicker on the eye test when I've watched some of the qualification. What has Sean seen in Indian Wells?
Sean has seen absolutely no change whatsoever. He says
Yeah.
that he's out there in Indian Wells. You can follow him at Because We Win on our social page. He says it's high bouncing, it's gritty, it's all the things that you would expect to be on an Indian Wells court. No change whatsoever as far as Sean is saying on this court service. What he said, they've changed it, but he reckons that they can change it. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be slow. The tournament organisers can change the court, but then tell them to play it slow or the conditions they want to be. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a quicker court if you lay that down. Your tournament organisers will speak to the people who lay the court and say, put that court down, but make it, the conditions is more or less exactly the same. And that's what he believes happened. He was moaning it cost him £10 to go in and watch it for the day to find out. That was $10. That's one thing he did moan about. But no, he says no change. So it's pretty much as we were. I would say that the statistics that we've had over the few years, it will be on the slow side rather than the quick side. And every trend that we've seen over the years since COVID, you would think that that's where it's going to go again.
Yeah, I mean, looking at previous winners, and you say trend, it has been a bit of a mixed bag as far as winners are concerned, because Iga Swiatek, as mentioned, defending champion, she beat Maria Sakkari last year. The year before that, Jelena Rybakina beat Arina Sabalenka in the final, and they're two players you wouldn't expect to thrive on this slower surface. Before that, 2022, it was Swiatek over Sakkari again. Paula Badosa beat Victoria Azarenka in 2021. And if you go back before COVID, you had Bianca Andreescu defeating Angelique Kerber as a wild card in 2019. 2018, Naomi Osaka, that's when she announced herself to the world, unseeded, beating Daria Kasatkina. So I'm not really sure what to make of those previous winners. I guess the ralliers, probably the more Swiatek type players have a bit of an advantage, but it does seem to be quite even.
Yeah, I would say that you want to be with. I mean, the way that women's game is, who would you say now is an out and out clay courter anymore? I mean, is there many out and out clay courters? Is there any out and out? I mean, you've got Rybakina, I suppose, who's an out and out. It would be, you used to have the grass court players and the clay court players,
yeah.
And it was, it was the question of who would do well on the different hard courts. But now I don't think there's anybody you can really say, she's Madison Keys, Kvitova, Sabalenka, and Rybakina who want it quick, and then you've got Swiatek and Gauff, and Draver could probably play on any surface. The rest of them on any surface really, but Swiatek and Gauff would want it on the slower side. I think it will suit the players who more clay court. I think it will suit Swiatek more than it will Sabalenka or Rybakina, just by looking at the results from round one, just by looking at the speeds, and by speaking to Sean on his preview on the men's circuit. He definitely believes that the guys who are more clay court specialists have an edge on this surface, and that is reflected in the opening betting movements, hasn't it? The way that the market opened up when the draw was out to where it stands now, we've seen a big move for the clay court players.
We have indeed. Might as well take a look at the odds now, and talk through that move, because when the odds came out, well, certainly earlier today, Arina Sabalenka was a plus 320 favourite, with Iga Swiatek at plus 360, but we've had a bit of a flip flop. Swiatek's now favourite at plus 335. Arina Sabalenka plus 336. Coco Gauff and Jelena Rybakina at $9. Miran Draver at $11. Madison Keys also $11. Karolina Mukova, Jessica Pegula 20s. Amanda Anisimova, Qinwen Zheng $33. Paula Badosa, Belinda Bencic, and Emma Navarro. Now, she's been nibbled at. She was $50. She's now $40 with those other two. And it's $50 bar those. I think we need to talk through the draw, don't we, before we...
I mean, the first set of odds I saw that come out, Iga Swiatek was plus 450. Wow. And now she's been betting to plus 335, and I wanted to bet her at plus 450, and I did bet her at plus 450, but at plus 335, I don't think I would bet her. I think she's the girl to beat. We'll come on to that. Let's have a look at the draw. If you want to run through the draw, we'll go through the draw and then see where we were heading.
Yeah, this is a 96 player draw. It's one of those extended 1000s. All 32 seeds get buys into round two. If it does go according to the seedings, the quarterfinals will see world number one Arina Sabalenka up against sixth seed Jasmine Paolini. Coco Gauff will play Madison Keys in her first appearance since winning the Australian Open. In the bottom half, Jelena Rybakina up against Jessica Pegula, and then Iga Swiatek against Qinwen Zheng. Let's run through some of the obvious dangers. I mean, Mira Andreeva, winner in Dubai. She's in the third quarter, but that looks tough. You've got Clara Towson there, Yelena Ostapenko. Ons Jabeur's in the bottom quarter, as are Karolina Mukova, Linda Noskova and Paula Badosa, a previous winner. In Q2, that's where Emma Navarro is, as is Amanda Anisimova, who won in Doha. The top quarter, perhaps the easiest, you've got Daria Kasatkina and Ekaterina Alexandrova. I mean, the top half does look a little easier.
It certainly does. I think Q3 is the hardest quarter of the lot. I think that's really, really tough. You've got Andreeva, you've got Towson, the two girls who played it out in the final in Dubai recently looked like they were on a collision course to meet in the last 32, which is dangerous. You've got Rybakina in that section as well, and then you also got Pegula as well, which is a recent winner. So Q3 is very, very difficult. Q4, you've obviously got Iga Swiatek, Mukova, who can do anything, but Badosa has got a good record here. I know she's a bit flaky and comes in and out, but when she's on her game, she's more than capable. So definitely for betting purposes, you want to be in the top half of the draw for the better value. It's an easier run. Not saying that Iga Swiatek I thought was a big price at the start of plus 450, but I do think the easiest section is in the top half of the draw. The easier part of the bracket is the drop half of the draw than the bottom half of the draw. And if I go through the top half, Sabalenka's been given the most easiest of runs through, but I've said it a couple of times, but she's forever, absolutely forever modelling on and going into an opening of this and to a premiere of this, and she's at a different thing. And I know they've got commitments, but she seems to be going absolutely mad. Her Instagram full of this, of her turning up at a red carpet event, and I'm not quite sure whether she's really, really on her tennis game at the moment. I mean, she's lost against Towson in Dubai, she's lost against Avanesian in Doha, Madison Keys in the final. And I don't think you can switch it on and off. I think there's a lot of hungry players out there at the moment, and I don't believe that the conditions will suit her. This is a tournament that she's never done very well at. I don't think she's ever got past the semi-finals, only once in the semi-finals. I just think that she's a fade for me, even though she's in that easiest quarter, and even though she's in the top half of the draw, where I'm saying that that's where you want to be if you're looking for a likely winner. Everything about Sabalenka at the moment just seems to be, I'm the world number one. I'm going to milk this situation. I'm going to be more of a celebrity, where a lot of women's tennis players have fallen down that road before, and it hasn't really worked out for them. And I just got this feeling that she's a very attractive girl. She's got a new boyfriend, and she's living it up a little bit. And I'm not quite sure whether her tennis is warranting what she's doing off the court than when she's on the court. So I think she's a fade. Finding out who's going to come through that quarter in the top half of the quarter. I don't know who can beat her, if I'm being completely honest with you. I mean, Jasmine Paolini is the only person who I think could potentially give her a run for her money, but the way she's playing at the moment, she's so inconsistent as well. So I'm not really quite concerned about it. But I think that she's beatable by the people who come out of Q2 rather than the people who come to Q1. I think she could go to the semi-finals, quarter-finals, Sabalenka, but I don't see where she can get beat. But I just don't think she's got her minors on the tennis game at the moment. And I think that's one of the reasons why she's a big drifter in the betting market since the lines come up, and Swiatek is a huge market mover. If we look at Swiatek in the bottom half of the draw, I mean, she's got quite a difficult route. She should play Garcia or Perry in the second round. Then she'll play Ons Jabeur, but she leads 5-2 in the head-to-head against Ons Jabeur, and she's won the last 4 meetings between the two of them. Then she'll play Mukova, who she leads 3-1 in the head-to-head, and she's won the last 3 after losing the first. And then she'll play Badosa, who she leads 2-1 in the head-to-head, providing it goes the way they expect it to go, who she lost her opening match, and she's won the last 2. So her recent record against those 3 opponents is she's won 4 of the last 4, the last 3, and the last 2 they've played. So I think that's the reason why Swiatek is being bet, because even though Swiatek hasn't won a title, she's still showing that desire on the court, and it's just a couple of little things that just aren't going her way. She's not playing bad. She got the quarterfinals in it got to Andreeva in the quarterfinals in Dubai. She lost to Ostapenko, which she always does in the semi-final when she was better off the boards to win that tournament in Doha. And then she got to in the Australian Open to Keys, and that match against Keys, I've said it previous times, they've played it 100 times again. Swiatek will win it 85 times to 90 times again. She just didn't expect Keys to do what she did in that tiebreak. So I don't think she's playing really bad, and I do think that she deserves to be the favourite. And I was coming on this show really, really, really happy to go with Swiatek here at plus 450, because that was what the price she was about 2 hours ago. At plus 335 now as tournament favourite, I've got to look for someone else at a big price. So I'm a little bit worried. But they're my thoughts on the top two. I don't know about what you think.
I would echo what you said about Sabalenka, and I think after she went out to Dubai, I think in Doha she went out to Alexandrova and then Dubai.
Yeah, it was Alexandrova. I'm reading my writing. I've got my writing down here. I've more writing for it said Avanesi, and it was Alexandrova. That's how bad my writing is.
Who did she lose to in Dubai? I can't remember now.
She lost to Towson.
Towson, of course, the rematch from the Australian Open. And I think she said after Dubai, she didn't really feel like she was, I don't know if it's motivation or she hadn't practiced enough, or it was that sort of reasoning given. And I think you've said it before. And I think the case, you could say the same about the big four. They're still the big four just about in terms of the betting. There's still single figures and the rest now just a bit outside double figures. But they're looking at the slams, aren't they, more than anything else? This is almost a slam. This is the biggest tournament outside of the slams. But, Sabalenka, she did reach the final a couple of years ago. Otherwise, not a great record here. Yeah, I'd be inclined to fade her. I'm not sure Swiatek's playing well enough for me. I thought the way Andreeva beat her in Dubai, and I mentioned it before, I was really impressed by the young
It was
Russian.
quite quick, though, wasn't it? This will be a lot slower than Dubai, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but to be honest, looking at Andreeva, I've always thought she'd prefer it slower than quicker. I think she won Dubai despite the conditions almost. I mean, that's the best I've ever seen her serve, and the best I've seen her hit it from the baseline was in Dubai. But, when she won that tournament, my first thought was, I really fancy her for Indian Wells. And I think, the thing that does put me off is that draw in Q3. That's the toughest draw of the lot. She came through a tough draw in Dubai, though. She beat Swiatek, she beat Rybakina. And I think I still like her. But I agree with you entirely. I think the top half is where it's better to focus your attentions, because I think there's more chance of your player getting through. It's just an easier draw.
But let's look at Q3 and highlight how difficult it is. You've got Rybakina in there. She's number 7 seed, but she's considered the fourth favourite to win this tournament, joint third favourites. You have Towson and you have Andreeva, and they've got to get it part each other in the last 32 before they play Rybakina. And then we have Pegula. I mean, I think Rybakina's form is pretty good, actually. I think she's a work in progress, and I think she's going to come and win a big tournament. But I'm worried about the speed of this competition. I know she's won it in 2023, but it's not particularly hot either at the moment this week. It's pretty good. It's fair. It's sort of 25 degrees, and there's a bit of rain around in the evening. So if she gets put onto an evening session, I'll be worried about Rybakina. But she's gradually getting better. And obviously, had a long layoff, come to the Australian Open. I bet her to win the Australian Open. She got beaten in round 16. Semi-finals Abu Dhabi, quarterfinals in Doha, quarterfinals in Dubai. And I think that she's someone to follow. Miami's certainly quicker. I think in Miami, Rybakina, if she has a good run here, she could be someone to look at for Miami in 2 weeks' time. So I think Rybakina is a work in progress, and I wouldn't bet her. The Towson Andreeva match is a massive match, and when they played in Dubai, it went. The first 2 sets were anybody's. It was very, very close, and that to me is a tough ask to get that kind of match in the round of 32. And then you've got to, you've got Kvitov or Osaka. Towson's got to play Osaka in round 2, so that they're in that section as well before we even get to that potential showdown. And then you've got Jess Pegula, who just won a tournament as well. So I couldn't bet Andreeva at 11-1 because I think, and I know you're keen on her, but I think the reason why I believe that the market has just gone really, really strong, top heavy on her because of her performance in Dubai. I know she's going to be a superstar. She's going to be she's going to be a world number one. She's going to win majors. She's going to win more of these 1,000 events. But I think to win back-to-back big tournaments, she's the youngest girl ever to win a 500. Now she's going to go. She was the longest girl to ever win 1,000. It's 1,000, wasn't it? Dubai, not 500 anymore. Yep. And to win back-to-back 1,000s at her age, 17? I think that is there's been some brilliant tennis players before who have tried to emulate that. To do that, I think, is a massive, massive ask. And that's why I'm worried about it. And I think now she comes on here where everyone thinks she's going to win it. And I think that comes with a different kind of pressure. And to do it in that draw, I'd want at least 16, 18-1. However well she played in Dubai, I think to do it again would be so tough.
I'm inclined to agree with you, but I've got a feeling she's still being slightly underestimated. I think what I saw from her in Dubai was exceptional. And I think at the moment, and certainly on form, she's a match for the top four. I think, and especially given the conditions, I think she should be a shorter price than Rybakina. On form, she probably should be a shorter price than Gauff.
Definitely Gauff. Gauff is in shocking form. She hasn't got past the opening match in her last two. A loss to Kostyuk and loss to Kessler. That's really poor form. They're good players, but that's awful. She's in shocking form, Gauff.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see the best of her when we get to the summer and the sort of US hardcourt season. That seems to be her time of year. But I'd give her a wide berth at the moment. I'm not sure Madison Keys is going to be 100% fit. This is her first tournament back from Melbourne. So I think Andreeva would be my pick in the bottom. But the top,
in that bottom half, we've just done Q3 and Q4. I'm not going to give it as a pick, but I think Swiatek will take some stopping. I'm not like you. I know she hasn't played the matches and won the matches that you would expect Iga Swiatek to win, but I don't think her game is that far off. I just think she's just having a little bit of wobble. She's trying different things with a new coach, and I think once they get it right, she's going to go on a roll again. I think you can catch her at a big price, and I thought plus 450 was the perfect price to catch her in a tournament she's done really well on. And then obviously a few hours later, we're talking about her as a tournament favourite. My whole strategy on here was to say how is not Iga Swiatek the tournament favourite and Arina Sabalenka is, and then go into one about her Instagram and her, the way she's playing at the moment. That's been rectified in the space of 2 hours. So that's my argument. But I still think Swiatek will come through because she's got a pretty easy head-to-head. And I think whoever comes through the top that section in Q3 could be burnt out by the time they get there. They could have a lot of tough matches there. If Andreeva has her run, it could be Andreeva v Kvitova, Andreeva v Towson, Andreeva v Rybakina, Andreeva v Pegula before she's even got to play Iga Swiatek. Whereas Iga Swiatek could breeze through there, drop very minimal games, and she could be totally refreshed. So I'm not going to give it as an official pick because the price doesn't warrant it. But I think Swiatek will come through the bottom half of the draw. I know you're going to go for Andreeva, but I think Swiatek will come through. But I'm going to go for one official pick in the top half of the draw because I think it's a weaker section and we could get a finalist at a nice price.
And who is that selection in the top half?
Well, we've done the Q1 where I think Sabalenka will stumble her way through, but I do want to fade her at plus 335. And in Q2, I've said that Coco Gauff is a huge fade at the price of single-figure prices for a girl who's lost her last two matches. She's got a bye to the second round. She's lost both of the matches, so she's 0-2 coming into this in 1,000 events. So Coco Gauff at third favourite and single-figure prices is definitely. She could hit a bit of form here, but I wouldn't want to go for it. Madison Keys is a player that I don't think will ever win a major again. I've said that to you. I think she's had her moment. I think
not even Wimbledon.
No, I don't think she'll win Wimbledon.
No,
I don't think so. I
really like her for Wimbledon.
I think she's had her moment. I think she's going to get so much media attention coming here as a major champion. She's going to get everyone high-fiving her. She's such a nice girl. I think she might just go there and have a bit of fun. I don't think the hunger will be there. I think it would, don't get me wrong here, but I just believe that once at that time of her career to win a major, some of her fire in her belly might have gone a little bit. She's done what she set out to achieve from a young age. I mean, she come on the scene as a teenager and everyone expected her to win it. She got into finals and didn't deliver, but now she's won it. It may be a little bit, well, I've got that off my back now. That's the way I'm thinking about Keys. I don't know. I've seen people win majors once before, never again, and I think she's got that look about her. So to come in here after the Australian Open and expect there to be anything like that in America with the American media all over her, she'll be on the back page of all the papers out there as well. Obviously, it's March Madness as well coming up soon in the college basketball, but Madison Keys everyone will be watching her, and I think the pressure will be too much for her. But another American I think will thrive on the pressure, and a player that is a gritty player who I was a bit critical of last week, but she was absolutely unbelievable, and that's Emma Navarro. I think Emma Navarro here, it was 50 to 1 with Bet Rivers. They've cut her to 40 to 1. But I think if you're looking for someone at a big price to come through that top half of the draw, the New Yorker is where I'm going to go. She's a multi-court player. She can play on almost any surface. Doesn't matter if it's quick, doesn't matter if it's slow. She can grind. She's got power. She's got the ability to actually get stuck in and as you saw in the Australian Open when she was winning pretty much every single match in the final sets. She knows how to do well. She's coming in great form. She's up to number 8 in the world rankings, one of her highest, not far off her highest ranking. And she's just come from the final in Maredo. I know it's a low-level final, but the way she dismantled the opposition in every single round, didn't drop a set, lost 15 games on the way to the title, and won the title, as you predicted, 6-love. I think that gives her huge confidence coming back to a massive support. She's an American player in America. And I think in that section where you've got 3 Americans, all eyes, or 3, there's more Americans than that with qualifiers and people who come through, but there's 3 Americans that everyone will be looking at. Gauff, Keys and Navarro. She'll be under the radar, and I think she'll thrive on that. And I think 40 to 1, Emma Navarro will be my half-point each-way bet in the top half of the draw to get through. And I'm hoping that Sabalenka can get knocked out by someone before she gets to the semi-finals. We've got to, hope it's Kazatkina can beat her, Alexandrova, someone like that can beat her, and then we've got a good chance of getting the final. But yeah, I'm going to go for Navarro. This is a tournament that really you do get a lot of shock players. Sakkari's done really well here. There's been some Badossa's won it. Doesn't necessarily go for the favourites. I know Iga Swiatek has won it, but I think what Navarro did last week made me think, hang on a minute, I probably underrated this girl a little bit. It was an amazing performance, and I think if she can bring that form into here and that confidence with her, I think she's the girl. And at almost 5 times the price of Coco Gauff and 4 times the price of Madison Keys, I think that's wrong. And I'm going to go for Navarro half-point each way at 40 to 1. I wanted it to be 50s, but 40s will do.
Yeah, well, I'm going to make that a point each way because I agree totally on Navarro. I think she hadn't looked good since reaching the semis of the US Open last year. Had really struggled for form. As you say, in Melbourne, she just somehow grinded her way through each round, it seemed. It looked like she was in a really unpromising position in every match, somehow got it done. Now she's found form. I think the conditions will be fine for her. As you say, she's pretty adaptable. And she's coming in here high on confidence. I think generally what we're seeing this season is that you really want to be with informed players, I think. And Navarro is definitely that. And that's my logic as well part of my logic for Andreeva. She's in great form. We know about the talent, and I think the conditions will suit her as well. So we're both going for Navarro top half. I think we can give you
another before we leave Navarro. So I'll give you another couple of things. She's due to play Madison Keys. Obviously, the Americans are going to, we're talking about Gauff. I'm comparing her to the Gauff price to the price of the Madison Keys. Now, that Madison Keys might not even get that far because she plays Potapova. Potentially play Potapova in round 2, and I think she'll give her all kinds of problems. Yeah. But if they do meet, Navarro has a winning head-to-head record against Keys, leads 2-1. She also has a winning head record against Coco Gauff as well, winning 2-1. So she's not going to worry about that. That's and you're getting the 40 to 1 compared to single figure prices. And she's in the greatest. She's played. I think last week was probably a statement tournament of her career. And when you see her, she's such a confident player. She hurries around the court. She's determination. She's feisty. She grinds for every point. And the way she won that, I think she comes in here as a real life contender. And I just don't think the price difference between those three Americans should be is what it is. Especially Gauff's form, Keys having a long layoff, and she could quite easily come through Q2. I think what we're doing this now, we're recording this now, and Bet Rivers have only just come up with the prices to the main draw that starts tomorrow. But I reckon there's a good chance that Bet Rivers will put up some quarter odds, so to win Q1, Q2, Q3. And I think if Navarro, as well as the outright buy, I think she could be a nice price to win Q2 as well.
Yeah, especially if she's $40 outright. I mean, she'd probably be $6 or $7 for the quarter, perhaps.
Yeah,
something
probably,
like
hopefully
that.
a bit bigger.
Hopefully a bit bigger. Yeah, that would be nice. But no, I agree totally. And I think the manner of her victory in Merida and similar demands. I mean, a bit exaggerated there because it's really slow there. But the important thing in that tournament last week is not making errors, and that is similar to Indian Wells. It's not that easy to hit winners there. It is slow, fairly slow compared to some of the other tournaments. And I think Navarro has the game to go really well. So I think we're going to have a joint point each way on Emma Navarro in the top section, and the bottom half, as we've kind of talked about.
If you didn't go out this afternoon, Rory, we could have got 50s. I mean, lovely. Oh dear.
Oh well, 40s is pretty good. If she gets to the final, we're up on the P&L. So yeah, if I hadn't been out, very true. In the bottom half, I'm going to go for Andreeva. I think just a half a point each way for Andreeva. I just don't want to. I think it's the sort of thing where if she does get to the final or even wins it, I would regret it, because I did think after she won Dubai, I thought Indian Wells would be her tournament. Not Miami. I think that would be too quick for her. But Indian Wells, I thought that had her name on it, especially the way she beat Swiatek in Dubai. So I think that's it for our look at Indian Wells. And of course, Nigel, we talked about it earlier, but obviously Sean is out there and you've been looking ahead to the big ATP event.
Yeah, we just done a podcast as well just before we spoke to you. Sean is out there. He'll be available on our Instagram account at Because We Win. You'll be able to follow his time out there over in Indian Wells. He's looking at the courts. It's not the most. He was having a pizza last night. And he decided to send a little tweet on that, little story on that, and it was that one of him this morning showing his breakfast, and he was having some omelettes. So it was it's not the most. This is not what a lot of people want to go to Instagram for, but obviously, along when you see him have his pizza, and then he has a Magners and he has a bit of coffee, somewhere along the way he'll give you a little bit of pearl of wisdom, so we can play betting as well. So it's well worth to follow, not to see that breakfast and that pizza slice, but somewhere along the way he'll give you a nice little winner along the cards as well.
Absolutely. And we've got plenty of other stuff coming up this week on the Betting Weekly. We've got the live show every day, of course. We've got
live
soccer action.
I was just checking the schedule to see if you were on the live show this week, Rory, because I know you're not on until a couple of weeks' time. But no, it's the Champions League is obviously back now on Tuesday and Wednesday, and the Betting Weekly Live will be covering the Champions League tomorrow. Jack Wright will be on this Wednesday. Jack Wright will be on alongside Steve Whiston. The Premier League is back after a week off on Thursday with myself, Jack, and Dan Robert, looking ahead to all the best bets on the Premier League, as well as the European show with Steve, James and Dan as well. So it is all happening. The tennis is going to come fast and furious throughout the next couple of weeks, and then we move into the Sunshine Double in Miami, and hopefully we can move in with Navarro. Not, if she doesn't win it, if she gets through the final, I'm happy with that, but a winner would be great.
It certainly would. Hope you enjoyed Betting Weekly WTA. Let us know what you think, who you are tipping for success in the desert in Indian Wells, and hopefully we can cash some tickets. See you again soon.